Hi, welcome to South First. Today, Madhav Deshpande, who has over 30 years, 40 years of experience in the field of computer science and its applications. He has also worked as a consultant to federal, state, and local governments in US. And he has architected several path-breaking software for the first time in the world, including on low-level storage management on mobile phones. And he has been the CEO and CTO of several many companies in India and US as well. Sir, welcome to South First. Today, our guest will throw some light on the recent apprehensions expressed by some of the experts and former bureaucrats on the electronic voting machines. Sir, to begin with, I'll just start. Are EVMs hackable? Can they be manipulated?
So before we begin with our conversation, I would like to take this opportunity to clarify a few things. Some people have shared some links with me on the YouTube. People have been saying that I was Obama's advisor. I was not. I was a consultant on a very important project for the US when Mr. Obama was the president. That does not make me his advisor. So these are two different terms. And
Yeah.
thank you for this. Thank you first for inviting me to your show.
Thank you.
And as I've always said, Indian EVMs cannot be hacked.
Yes.
Because hacking is an activity where you take control of a machine from remote without touching it and then make it behave in a way that it is not expected to behave. It is not supposed to behave. Indian EVMs are not connected anywhere, either by Bluetooth, Wi-Fi,
Yes.
or to internet. So they cannot be hacked. But manipulation is another activity. Manipulation means you may touch the equipment and doing some things that are not expected to be done. Yes. Without opening the equipment, you make it behave in a way it is not expected to behave. So manipulation, yes, it can be done, because there are buttons and there are programs inside. And of course, the weakest link in our EVM is the VVPAT. And if I can extend your question, my answer a little more, yes. Indian EVM is not a single monolithic one unit. There are 3 units inside.
Yes.
Inside, I think you can see those 3 units independently. They are connected by wires. One is the ballot unit, where the voter presses a button and, to of his choice or her choice. Other one is a VVPAT, which prints the receipt.
Yes.
And the second one, of course, the receipt is seen by the voter and verified. That's why it is called voter verified paper audit trail, VVPAT, VVPAT. Yes. And the third one is the control unit, which stores this vote. Now, the good thing that has happened, very welcome thing that has happened in the last 2 days, is the Election Commission of India has come out with a new set of documents, or rather in the form of FAQs, or the frequently asked questions. They have responded to some of the queries that people have been asking. And this is the first time they have discussed at least some detail, technical detail of these machines, which is a very welcome change. It's a good step forward. The whole idea of our conversations is to not take the EVM away, but to strengthen the electronic election system that the EVM has brought into India. So to that extent, the more people know about these things, the more they can point weaknesses, so that weaknesses can be overcome. That is the whole approach. So in the new technical document, they say that this is using, I'm sorry, I'm using a technical term, but then yes. I have to, yes. RS-485 serial bus, which basically means that the control unit is the master and the ballot unit and the VVPAT are the slaves. So ballot unit and VVPAT can only respond to the commands that the control unit will give.
Yes. Sir, in the previous interviews and podcast, we have seen that you called VVPAT are the weakest link in this entire EVMs. Why so, sir? Why you found the VVPATs are the weakest link in this process?
There are multiple reasons for it. A couple of important reasons are, one is VVPAT has a program. That program is, the whole objective of that program is to recognize the electronic vote value that comes in the VVPAT, match it with a list of the candidates,
Yes.
and print the candidate name, party name, and symbol on a piece of paper so that the voter can see it.
Yeah.
Now, VVPAT is the only part in the EVM that is aware of the local data. The BU and the control unit are randomized. By that, what they mean is, if there are 1 lakh, let's say BU and CU,
Yes.
the control units and the ballot units stored at some place XYZ, then which control unit or ballot unit will go where is completely unknown. So somebody will pick up one machine and send it to, let's say, Madurai. Somebody will pick up another machine and send it to Jammu. Somebody will pick up another machine and send it to Calcutta, and so on and so forth. So there is no local binding to the
Yes.
control unit and the ballot unit. So tampering becomes impossible because, and this happens much earlier, and this happens 3 times. So when they come from central storage, they come to the state central storage, and then again randomization happens.
Yes.
So these are fairly location agnostic. Location doesn't make a difference. But
Yeah.
it is not so with the VVPAT. After the candidate list is finalized, which is about 10 to 15 days before the actual polls, the VVPAT is uploaded with a data,
Yes.
with using what is known as the symbol loading unit, SLU. This SLU connects to internet. Now that's another problem,
Yes.
which we can talk about later. But then SLU connects with internet down to the website of the Election Commission, downloads the local data for that specific constituency. The SLU is with only those people who are authorized by the Election Commission. So any average man cannot, or woman cannot have access to the SLU.
Yes.
So there is that kind of physical security, yes. But then when it connects to that and downloads the data and then connects to the VVPAT and uploads that data, there is a definite possibility, theoretically, that some additional data may be uploaded. That additional data may not necessarily be for every candidate. And this is an example that I usually give, that, if a candidate number 5 is to be favored, at the end of that, the typical look of the data would be 5, and then there will be an image. With that image has the candidate's name and party name and the symbol.
Yes.
And after that image, if I put a star or asterisk, and if the VVPAT program, because it is supposed to match the value 5 or value 2 that comes in, if that VVPAT program once reads that 5 has asterisk, it is, let's say, it can also count number of votes because there is a full-fledged program inside.
Yes.
Now that can lead to every 3rd, 5th, 7th, 4th, whatever vote to be directed to be stored as in favor of 5. Maybe I might have pressed 2, but that vote can be stored as 5.
Yes.
Now, to that, the argument can be that, this is a slave unit, not a control unit, so it can't command. Yes, it cannot command. But the control unit has, the way the process goes, as the Election Commission says, is control units gives command to the ballot unit to go into ready mode when the ready button is pressed by the controlling officer.
Yes.
So ballot unit then will wait for the vote to be cast. And whatever button value has been pressed, that button value will be given to the control unit.
Yes.
Control unit will now give that value to the VVPAT and ask it to print the receipt.
Yes.
So VVPAT will take that, let's say 2, match it in that list, and whatever is matching, that name, party name, and symbol will be printed. Now, VVPAT has read that, 5 has a star, let's say, for example.
Yes.
Now, this star, it will, let's say the program is such that every third vote has to go to 5. Because
Yes.
VVPAT is counting, the
Yes.
third time also, if somebody presses 2, VVPAT is going to return. VVPAT has to, once it prints the receipt, it has to confirm to the control unit that it has printed the receipt.
Yes.
But when it confirms, instead of just saying confirmed or yes, done, if it says done, comma 5,
10,5.
let's say, for example,
Yeah.
I mean,
For example,
this is
general.
not the way it
Yeah.
would be probably done.
Yes.
Just trying to simplify things
Yes.
so that one can understand what can happen.
Yes.
So if this control units program understands this, whenever there is a done followed by a comma and a number, that means that vote has to be recorded in that number
Yes.
instead of whatever vote has been received.
Yes.
So the process flow is after control unit receives the confirmation from the VVPAT, it will store the vote and give a beep.
Yes.
Now, before this beep, when it stores, instead of storing 2, because it has received done, comma 5, it can store 5. We don't know because nobody knows what is the program inside,
Yes.
either in VVPAT or in control unit. But these possibilities definitely exist.
Yes.
So that makes VVPAT the weakest link.
Okay. Sir.
Because it connects to the internet via the symbol loading unit. It doesn't connect all the time.
Yes.
But there is an exposure.
Yes.
Earlier, the claim, the thing was that it was not connected at all. If
Yeah.
only with control unit and ballot unit, there was no connection to internet or any other external data.
Yes.
So there was no possibility. Now
Yes.
this possibility exists. Moreover, in the new technical FAQs in the new FAQs that have come in, now Election Commission has said that VVPAT has 2 parts of the programmable memory. This is their answer to,
Yes.
in response to, just let me check which question it is. Question number 53.
Yes, sir.
They say that VVPAT programmable memory has 2 parts.
Yes.
One is one-time programmable, which cannot be changed, and the other part is that it can be changed.
Yes.
Now, the earlier claim was that this whole unit, EVM, is OTP, one-time programmable. This is what they've been saying. Now, this answer breaks even that claim.
Their earlier
Their own
stance.
claim.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Their own claim.
Yes.
So there is, and then it opens a lot of possibilities.
Yes.
We understand that yes, some memory needs to be there, which will store local data. Once you are going to accept local data, the answer to this vulnerability is simple. Disconnect the VVPAT from the control unit.
Yes.
If it was not a master-slave relationship, if all units were equal and one could talk to other,
Yes.
then the answer could have been easily implemented.
Yes.
Keep the ballot unit at the center. When the voter presses a button, same signal goes simultaneously to the VVPAT and the control unit. VVPAT prints it, the voter sees it, verifies it, but VVPAT does not give any confirmation back to control unit at all. Control unit gets that data and stores it. Then it becomes easier. But now, with master and slave relationship, the problem is even more complicated.
Sir,
and still vulnerability exists.
Sir, how technically sound are our EVMs, considering a lot of apprehensions from the civil societies?
I'm sorry, but I don't really. So technically sound, what is technically sound? See, anything that is sound today may not be sound tomorrow.
Yeah.
That is the actual problem with this whole system.
Yes.
The problem is that the system was designed in 1977.
Yes.
When there was no electronics advancement, there was no internet, there was computer science was in very initial stages. So naturally, this was a pure electronic device, like a calculator, as they said. And the enforcements, the security uh, thinking was around the same lines as that was for the ballot boxes. But now, in the last 40 years, or almost 50 years now,
Yes.
maybe 46 years to be precise, things have changed dramatically. Now you have mobile phones with gigabytes of memory. I mean, we have everything. So what was adequate that time, sufficient that time, is no more sufficient.
Yes.
So, and that is why the strength that we saw at that time have now become weaknesses,
Yes.
because there are possibilities of doing things more, in a better way.
Yes.
There are possibilities of, for example, pairing the control unit and the ballot unit, or control unit and the VVPAT before the polling starts. So they should exchange, like we say hi to each other,
Yes.
and then if I know you by your name, and if I am, let's say, I am programmed mentally in such a way that I will talk only to people who I know by name, and I identify one as to one, then I will not, if you come in a group of 5, all 5 may come from your own organization. So they in that sense are valid,
Yes.
but I will speak to only you because I'm programmed in such a way that I will speak to you. I will not connect with anything else. That is called pairing. Now, what is the new document that they have given says is that these things have authorization certificate. So authorization certificate is like a pass. Imagine that you are you have an event in the evening, and you have invited only 100 people.
Yes.
So you will give them, you have a watchman to guard the door, so that the watchman knows who is invited. You will give every invitee a pass. What watchman will do is he or she will ask to look
The
at the
pass.
pass.
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody who has the pass is valid to enter.
Yes.
But watchman will not know the identity of that person.
Yes.
So the group, as a group, 100 people are validated.
Yes.
They are authenticated. But individually, they are not paired. They are not identified individually.
Yes.
What must be done is, this identification has to happen between the VVPAT and the controlling unit
Yes.
at the time on the day of polling, just before the polling starts.
Yes.
So that pair will be the only authentic pair, only legitimate pair. And before the counting starts, this pair should be verified.
Yes.
So that the control unit doesn't get replaced.
Yes.
Today, a control unit can be replaced by some other authentic control unit.
Yes.
But not the one that is legitimate, because that one was not there in the polling station. That should not happen. That pairing has to happen. We are not doing that. So that becomes another inadequacy. This was not there earlier because we were not talking of cables and communication and protocol, because they were very, very elementary at that in 77.
Yes.
But as you know, my favorite example, you also might have heard, is about the Fiat car. I
Yeah.
always say that in 77 people used
Yeah. Yeah.
Fiat
Yeah.
cars, but we don't, and it was considered a better car
Yes.
amongst the other cars available. But the moment Maruti and other companies came, and they came with improvements and more features and all that happened, then Fiat was inadequate.
Yes.
Similar improvements should have been done in these EVMs. I always say 20 years ago.
Yes, sir.
We are already 20 years late.
Yes.
Should be
20.
doing it right away, in the interest of Indian democracy.
Sir, and how has the ECA responded to the concerns raised by experts and citizens regarding the transparency and accountability of these EVMs, sir, the existing EVMs?
So as I said, the development 4 days back is extremely welcome.
Yes.
It's a definite step forward. And if this is the approach that ECI is taking, it gives me a lot of hope
Yes.
of lot of things improving. That may not happen immediately in the next 2, 3, 4 months.
Yes.
This is not something that you can do in 2, 3 months.
Yes.
We will have to find other ways to go around the problems.
Yes.
And then there are possibilities, but the technical improvements maybe will happen over next year, year and a half, 2 years. But if this is the approach, to make it more open, as they have done it in the new FAQ,
Yes.
then yes, we are on the right track.
Yes. Sir, with considering the protests from the various groups about the and demand about ban on EVMs, so is there any possibility for the ECI to implement changes to EVMs in next 2 to 3 months to ensure the fairness and transparency in the elections?
As I see it, no.
Yes.
See, any change that imagine this now. Let's say that India has 50,000. It has more. I'm just taking a lower number. It actually probably crosses 1 lakh. 50,000 places where EVMs have to be present simultaneously, and they have already been sent out.
Yes.
Let's say that you have 50,000 units. The units are actually far more. There are about 13 lakh units that they had ordered.
Yes.
But those units, even to make a change, for example, obviously the fundamental change in the architecture of master and slave cannot be made in the 2 months and then test. See, it's not just making the change. You have to make sure that it is tested properly, it is working properly.
Yes.
All that stuff has to happen. And for 13 lakh units, to do that in 2 months, in 60 days,
It's
is impossible. Even
yes.
if you take 12 lakhs and 60 days, how many units are we talking about per day? 20,000?
It's huge number.
20,000 units in a day. Can you imagine?
Yes.
You can't do that.
Yes.
So clearly, in the next 2 months, I don't think these things can be addressed. It is unrealistic to expect that also. But we have to find a way out. Because, see, there is another thing. As Mr. Kanan Gopinathan has always, he's been saying that now we have 2 votes. With electronic system in place, we
Yes.
have 2 votes.
Yes.
One is the vote on the paper that the voter has verified.
Yes.
In the VVPAT box. It goes in the VVPAT box. And the second is the electronic vote in the control unit, which is being counted, but it has not been verified in any way by the voter.
Yeah.
The voter is blind to that vote. It is
Yes.
electronic, it has gone there. One has to believe that it is identical to the vote that has been printed. There is no, as of now, there is no electronic evidence
Yes.
that has been given that this
True.
vote and this vote matches.
Yes.
That evidence that the voter, every voter can see.
Yes.
So we have a basic problem there, and to which, and his question is very, very, very relevant. Mr. Kanan Gopinathan has been asking this question, that we have to clarify which vote is genuine, which has primacy, as it is called, And we have an answer already given by the court and the ECI that in case of a variation between the VVPAT and the control unit, the count of VVPAT takes primacy. It should be taken in announcing the results. Now, if that is the case, and if we have these, serious weaknesses, I mean, EVM is no more one-time programmable.
Yes.
In response to, as I told you, in
Yes.
response to a question that they have already said,
53.
question number 52, right?
Yes. Yes.
53.
Yes.
That it has 2 parts and one part is not programmable memory. So that claim has gone. It does connect to internet, although indirectly, and has local data and has program. Nobody has seen that program. Nobody has seen the program in the control unit. So there is more than reasonable doubt in everybody's mind. And that is the reason why people have this doubt. And that is the reason why even person like me who is looking at it only technically is saying that no, this design has to change.
Yes.
We have to bring in those changes so that, see, trust is when there is transparency.
Yes.
For example, I may be doing anything. I may be selling you maybe a box of mithai, let's say,
Yes.
for example.
Yes.
If you ask me what is inside, and if I refuse to tell you, then you will start doubting, whether I am giving you mithai or I am giving you stones.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
is a reason to
Naturally.
doubt
Yeah.
because I am not telling you.
Yes.
I'm not showing you anything. So transparency is what brings trust. And as I said, this step is, that's why I welcome this step of, opening up
Yes.
by the ECI. Share the technical details. Everybody is an Indian. All of us are working to make India strong.
Yes.
So let us do it collectively. And we can do it.
Sir, you shared that the ECI has recently shared these technical details. So, and do you think what are the other steps can be taken by the ECI to instill confidence in voters, that their cast votes are accurately recorded beyond relying on this printed ballot paper? What are the other steps can they take?
Yeah. See, I am no policy maker. I am
Yeah.
no nobody in the administration or politics. My views are
Yeah.
strictly as an average citizen of India. Now, I think the easiest way that comes to my mind is make 100% VVPAT counting. That doesn't mean abandon control unit. No. Also use this opportunity to establish that, every time you count VVPATs, whatever the result VVPAT gives you, let's say A has 20 votes, B has 30 votes, C has 40 votes, whatever it is, the same result comes from the control unit. If you can do that across the nation, then people will automatically start trusting it. This was done. Yes, 100%. Plus, because everybody has seen the vote that the VVPAT printed, the trust will automatically come.
Yes. Sir,
That's my common sense answer. As I said, I am not a policymaker. I am not a my answer could be wrong, but this is my answer as a common Indian.
Sir, thank you so much for joining the South First and throwing some light about technicalities of the people or experts, including you, expressing apprehensions about that the EVM can be hacked and also stressing for the change in design. So thank you so much for enlightening our viewers. Mahesh Gowda reporting for South First.